Hey, what's going on, guys? So today I wanted to give you another tutorial, and I wanted to show you how you can do some photo manipulation to kind of give you a different look that can go from this to this. And I figured I would borrow Nick here on our channel, and I'm going to kind of show you how you can make different, really creative look, kind of whether it's levitating or just adding things into the image that weren't originally there. I thought it'd be kind of fun to do something like that. Shouldn't be too hard. It's actually really easy, and I'm going to show you exactly how I do it, so you can do it at home too. So let's get started.
Hey, what the f?
Alright, so we are now back at the house. We have our images all set up and into the computer, and I wanted to show you guys the final look that we ended up going with. We kept it gaming related because we thought it would stick to the channel, and I just wanted to show you guys what we ended up getting as a final image, and then we're going to break it down step by step. I'm going to redo this whole edit and show you guys how I got it so you can see kind of how layer building works in Photoshop and how you could really use it to make some really cool images. So here's the final image we came up with. So as you guys can see, we got the Xbox controller, got a little flare on there just for an added touch, just for fun. We got the Pokemon cards all in the air like that. As you can see, the controller is floating, and then you got Nick holding it. And as I said, you always want to have a background layer, just like I said in the last tutorial. So we also have a blank background layer behind all of that. So there's kind of at least 4 to 5 images, maybe 6 in total that are kind of building up this image. And that's kind of how this all works, is you've got your blank background, you've got your subject, and then you've got anything after that that you want to add for fun. And all of this is going to effortlessly, my goodness, pile in here as long as you stick to that same structure. It shouldn't be too difficult, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it right now. Alright, so now that we're in Photoshop, we have our blank layer. The trick to doing this, if you want to have this kind of blown out background and have the subject in focus, is you're going to want to set up the shot for the subject first, and you're going to take that first, have them scoot out of the way, and capture another image. Manual focus is the only way to do this. If you're kind of going for this look, there's other ways to go about it, but this is the way I do it. So I'll shoot manual focus, I'll capture the image of the subject, have him move, take a blank image, and then we'll start doing the fun stuff after the fact. So it's just the way I do things. There's 100 ways to do anything in Photoshop, but this is just the way I'm doing it. But now that we have that blank background set up, we're going to kind of open this folder here, and you'll see we have the background. These are just photos from the video earlier in. We have all of our cards that are floating. Some of them didn't make the cut, like overlapping too much, that's fine. But for now, we're going to have Nick, and we're going to put the controllers in. And we're going to just drag these, let them go. Hit enter for each one. Terrific. We're going to put Nick at the bottom because, as we said, so now we have the background, we have Nick, and now we have the controller. You can kind of see what I'm talking about here. As you start to erase the unnecessary pieces of each layer, behind it is another thing and another thing. And then before you know it, you've got like all this stuff going on, and it just comes out so crazy. But it's so easy to do this. Now, personally for me, I like to color coordinate things just so I can find it easier. Like the controllers, we can make blue, we can make Nick red, etc. BG for background, I'll make this red. These are like background layers, and we have the controllers. Alright, so here's where we're going to start getting into that detail. Everybody's image is going to be different, so whatever you're working on obviously won't reflect exactly what mine's doing, but you get the idea. We're going to come over to this first item I'm going to have floating, which is the controller, and I'm going to have to hit this bottom white box with the black circle in it. That's a layer mask. We're going to click that. Ooh, we do not need 2, you only need 1. There we go. I'm going to hit B for the brush. And now, the way layer masks work, anything, if you paint black in this white box, it takes it away. And anything white, you add it back in. It's kind of like hiding it. Well, it is hiding it. You're just hiding it. You're not deleting it. You're not erasing it. You could bring this back at any time. I could erase my hand. I could say I didn't mean to do that, and it's back. It's simple as that, effortless. I'm hitting the X tool to alternate the black and white, and that's all I'm doing. So now that I have this background layer waiting, you can effortlessly paint out the hand, and what is left is the background layer. If I take this off, you'll see exactly what I mean. And with that, you can start to already see what I mean. I'm already taking out this hand, and I'm gonna need the other one at some point. As you can see, this is exactly why I took 2 images. I didn't want to get too detailed in trying to remove my thumb and all that, so I figured I'll just take a second image, I'll just smack it on, and be all set. So let me just cut ahead here and finish masking out this first controller image and get this set up for the next piece. Alright guys, a few seconds later, and I've got my controller all set up ready to go. As you can see, I've got one half of the first one, and I've got the second half of the other one, and then when you kind of stick them together with the background, now we have the floating controller. Easy peasy. And we are going to have to fine tune this to make it go over Nick, but that is my mistake, which is why I'm telling you ahead of time. Like I said, whatever is supposed to be behind this should be behind it. Now, I sit on Photoshop every day, so it's not going to be a big deal for me, but for you, just make sure you have the subject or whatever you're supposed to have behind this already there, so that way you can save yourself some time in the masking tool. You don't want to be in here forever trying to fine tune this, but yeah, it looks good. I like it. I'm happy with it. Yeah. So now that I have my controller all set up, I'm going to add Nick back into here. And like I said, mistakes were made. So I am going to fine tune this and get all this excess out of here. You probably won't have to do this since you just learned from my mistakes. So once again, we are going to just kind of skip one little jump ahead. And I'm going to show you guys where we're at with the controller and Nick now in place. Alright guys, I'm back. So all I did was I grouped together the 2 controller layers, which already had a mask on them, and I just added an additional layer mask to fix the issue that I created, which is just leaving all this excess without the subject behind it. So, fixed it. There's nothing special about what I did. It's the exact same thing as I showed you with the brush tool. I just zoomed way in, took my time. There's 100 methods to remove that sort of thing. I don't want to get into details for each one. There is so many ways to do it. But with that, I mean, I got the controller excluded from the rest of the background. And if you follow the steps without the mistakes I made, you should just be able to use the brush tool and nothing crazier than that. So that's why I'm not going to go into detail on that. But now that we have this secluded, I can add this background layer back in. I can now add Nick in. And now, as you see, we've got this really cool photo of him kind of doing some magic trick almost, and it's holding the controller in midair sort of thing, and that is the image. And now that we have this image of him kind of showing off this controller in midair type of thing, I'm going to go over and grab my card images, which you could grab whatever you had done personally, and I'm going to just start sticking these in here until I have each one. I think I took 7 images, so now I'll probably just color coordinate these a different color. This is like my toppings of the layer here. This is stuff that doesn't need to be there, but it just adds effect to that. So I'm going to kind of go in one by one now. I'll speed this up through a time lapse, and I'm going to kind of show you what it looks like as I add some of these card layers through the works and kind of just give it even more depth to the image on this levitation magic trick looking kind of effect that we got going on here. So let's get that added in there. Alright, and there you have it. So as you can see on the right hand side where these boxes are, I didn't do any special tricks here. It's all just the layer mask button I showed you, that white box with the black circle in the middle, that layer mask, and then the brush tool to take and give where needed. And that's all I did. So all these are, if you hide all these layers, you can kind of see exactly what I mean. We added the controller in front of Nick. And then one by one, we kind of just added these thrown in card images that we just grabbed some Pokemon cards in his car, threw them in the air, took the photo, and then we kind of just added them in post. And now you're left with this. At the last second, I did add a flare. I didn't take a picture of this. I cheated. I'm not going to lie. I have a whole folder full of these, and I just stuck it on here. Obviously, you don't have to go do that. This was just for added effect because I had it. You could Google lens flare, and you could find the same thing. But in general, that was just an added effect. But that's the image we got left with, and you can see how easy that really was if you break it down layer by layer and how I did it. You'll find that it's the same tool and it's fairly easy to do. But yeah, guys, let me know if you have any additional questions in the comments. I can answer them as best I can. If you have anything that maybe I didn't cover fully that you wanted me to run through a second time or something, just shoot me a message on here. We definitely read all the comments, things like that. I'd definitely be looking forward to helping you as much as possible. I'm going to let him continue his nap, and I'm going to get back to work, but I figured I would just kind of pass this along because sometimes I get asked, how did you do that? And it's extremely easy. It just looks like maybe there's more work that goes into it, but a lot of it just comes down to prep work for taking the photos and making sure the focus is locked in, and the rest of it is just kind of a few tricks in Photoshop. So that's about it. Other than that, I'm going to take off for now, and I will see you guys on the next video, and thanks for stopping by. Make sure to subscribe too. Alright, I'll see you.